Monday was an off day, rain in New York on Tuesday, so another unanticipated off day, and then Wednesday, a doubleheader with the Cubs. When you go into a doubleheader like that, are you thinking, let's just split here, or are you thinking we're sweeping the Cubs?
No, I mean, you're trying to sweep. You're trying to win every game, but obviously it's tougher, and because you can't play, some guys 2 games, but we got outstanding pitching that day. Tanaka and Pineda were great. They gave us distance. We didn't have to use our bullpen a lot, which really helped us.
How much of a confidence booster is that for your entire pitching staff when you throw shutouts in back-to-back games to sweep a doubleheader?
Well, it's important, and it gets guys on a roll, and you see pitchers starting to compete against each other, and you see CC threw then a good game in Tampa, and it's a good thing when they're able to feed off of each other.
You mentioned Tanaka. Sensational performance again. 28 strikeouts in his first 3 starts. I think the hitters are quickly finding out it's not just the splitter. He has a lot of other pitches that he can get him out with, too.
He does. He has a lot of weapons that he can go to, and he has really 4 pitches that he can go to. And what he's able to make in-game adjustments and able to get you out a couple different ways, during the course of a game. And that's what's important, because when you're seeing a lineup the 2nd, 3rd, and sometimes the 4th time, you have to have different weapons you can go to.
With how well he's done, do you find yourself forgetting he's only 25 years old? This is the first time he's been in this league?
Yeah, I mean, it is hard to believe he's only 25 years old, because a lot of times it's just the first year for, a player that's played here in the minor leagues. But, for him, he's pitched in the big leagues over in Japan for a while, and he's very seasoned. He knows what he wants to do. He knows how to make adjustments, but it's really good. He's only 25.
You mentioned the in-game adjustments. That's obviously a positive sign, but do you think things get harder for him the 2nd, 3rd time he sees a team, maybe?
Well, I'm sure teams will adjust to him, but I think he'll get more comfortable in his surroundings, and he'll continue to attack hitters like he does, and he'll get a better idea what it's like to throw every 5th day for a while. And I think he'll make adjustments, and he's already shown he can make adjustments.
And then you move on to Michael Pineda, another guy that has been throwing the ball very well. You look at your 4th and your 5th starters throwing like a 1 and a 2 maybe for another team. How great is it looking at that and knowing you have that at the back end of that rotation?
When you have very good back end of the rotation, usually it means you have a chance to have a really good season, and that's what we've had so far. And Michael's been tremendous. He's given us distance, and we're being a little bit careful with him. I took him out after 6 innings the other day. He wanted to stay in, and I just told him, Michael, it's a long year, and we need you to make 30 to 32 starts for us. So, and he understood, but it didn't mean that he didn't want to go back out there and compete.
Will there be a point in time this season where you'll say, all right, 100-plus pitches, I'm going to leave you in, or are you still kind of err on the side of caution due to that shoulder surgery?
I'm going to err on the side of caution until we get a little bit further into this and see how he's adjusting. I mean, right now, a lot of these guys are getting an extra day, through this now, and with an off day on Monday and then another off day the following Monday. So I'm going to see how he does, but I'm going to err on the side of caution in the beginning.
With Pineda, what's impressed you most so far with him?
His command. It's been tremendous. In command of 3 pitches, his fastball, his slider, and his changeup. And his changeup was something that he was working on his first year in Seattle, and it's become a very good pitch. Now, he's had a little time to work on it. He was off for a little bit, but I think he really cleaned up a lot of things when he was hurt and really worked hard, and his command has been great.
Seems like the offense has really started to get going a little bit as well. Carlos Beltran in particular, AL Player of the Week last week. He seems as though he's very comfortable on both sides in the batter's box.
Yeah, he's been great for us, and we've moved him around in the lineup. We've hit him 2nd, we've hit him 3rd, and we've hit him 4th, and he's just done a great job wherever we put him. And obviously he's very important, and when you have all the lefties that we have, those switch hitters are very important to your lineup, and he's really dangerous right-handed and left-handed, so it's not like you have one side you can choose. So if you bring in, a lefty to face, a Girardi or an Ellsbury, and you got a right-hander in between that does a lot of damage, they have to be careful.
He had said prior to the Boston Red Sox Sunday night game that he didn't feel as though he was getting great swings against the lefty. Got some good swings against Felix Dubron. How much did he need that game just to get a little bit more comfortable from the right side?
Well, I think sometimes for switch hitters it takes them a little bit longer to get going right-handed because they just don't get the amount of at-bats. But he got going, and he's really kept it going. And he had a good game on the doubleheader against the lefty as well. So it's important to have him going from both sides.
You look at him, you mentioned the fact that he's batted at different places in that order. How does that change a hitter's mindset if you're batting 2nd, if you're batting 3rd, if you're batting 4th?
I think young hitters, it changes their mindset a lot. They think too much about it. But a seasoned vet, he's just going to approach the game like he always does. And I tell him, if you're hitting 2nd, I don't expect you to do anything different if you were hitting 4th. But sometimes young guys think, well, I got to take more pitches. I got to give the guy a chance to steal. I want you to be the hitter that you're going to be, and Carlos understands that.
Joe, last year I feel like I spent so much time talking to you about injuries, who's coming back, what's going on. Really scary moment with Beltran as he went over that wall. What are you thinking in the dugout as you see him hustling and not slowing down as he approaches?
I was shocked he got up. I thought he'd be really hurt when we got out there, and I didn't know what part was going to be hurt. I didn't know if it was going to be a knee, a shoulder, a wrist. I didn't know what, but I was really shocked that he got up. And when he walked over there, I was even more shocked how well he was walking. And I was like, Carlos, you didn't know there was a fence there? And he's like, I did, but it got to me a little bit quicker than I thought. But the good news is all the tests came back positive. I mean, negative, positive for us.
Right.
And he's a player for us again.
Now, you think part of that is because that wall out there is so low, maybe you can't see it as easily? Or you think he was so focused on the ball, he was going no matter what?
I think he was probably so focused on the ball that he was going to catch that ball no matter what, and probably not playing here a lot, he didn't understand it. I mean, these are all new ballparks for him in a sense because he hasn't been in the American League for a while.
If you go back to Game 1 in that Cubs doubleheader, an interesting play with the interference call.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of people wouldn't have known that you had the choice there, but you actually knew because it happened to you as a player.
It happened to me as a player. I was catching Paul Ossenmacher, and he gave up a 3-run homer to Bobby Bonilla when he was with the Pirates on a catcher's interference, and I was hoping they'd say, nope, take first base, and it'll be the bases loaded, but you have the choice is the offense what you're going to do, and obviously they took the 3-run homer. When
you look at an MLB rulebook, there are an awful lot of pages in that rulebook. How many managers do you think, if that hasn't happened to him as a player or in one of the games, would know that you have that choice?
I think they all know that because they've probably seen it one time in their career, but it's not a rule you see very often. And I think the real question in my mind would have come if there were no outs.
I was going to ask you
what would I
that.
have done? And I probably would have taken first base and played for the big inning.
And is that because of who you have coming up in that order?
Because of who I had coming up. But with one out, I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen. So I told Jake, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm giving you an 0 for 1 here. I owe you one, but I'm going to take the RBI.
I'm pretty sure he was okay with it as well, right?
Yeah, he was.